people save money, they give up the chance to buy something now in order to buy something later. What would you like to save money for?
These points help me welcome our next speaker. She is a graduate of the Humanities and Social Science strand and an active young entrepreneur, smart and fun you can trust. We present to you Miss Irish Onisa.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gawazan, for that introduction of yours. Good day once again. Good morning, Mom. So last meeting, we are already acquainted with the definition and importance of financial literacy, financial plan, financial improvement strategies, and financial goal setting. That was discussed to us by Ms. Oribe. Also, Ms. Ariate discussed to us what is budget and budgeting, the steps to good budgeting, spending, investment, and investing. And this time, we will be learning about savings, the 10 reasons why we need to save money, what are the common financial scams to avoid, and the 10 tips to avoid common financial scams. So let's start with savings. Saving money is one of the essential aspects of building wealth and having a secure financial future. Saving money gives us a way out of the uncertainties of life and provides us with an opportunity to enjoy a quality of life. Putting aside a sum of money in a systematic manner can help us steer out of many hurdles and obstacles in life. It can support us in our needs and ensure that our family has something to fall back on in case of an unfortunate event. So let's have the 10 reasons why we need to save money. Next slide, please. With credit so easy to get, so here are the 10 practical reasons why it is important to save money that everyone, including teachers, must know. First is to become financially independent. Financial independence is not having to depend on receiving a certain pay, but setting aside an amount to have savings that can be relied on. This is one of the important things to consider why we need to save money for us to become financially independent. If you are working right now or you have to remember that setting aside money from your salary is essential factor for you to achieve financial independence. Also, if you are a student and you have a sideline work or you run a small business, this is also important so that everything you work hard for is all worth it. So let's be mindful with our money and spend it in a rightful way. The second reason is to save on everything you buy. With savings, you can buy things when they are on sale and can make better spending choices without being compromised on credit card and interest charges. So if you have your savings, whenever there's a sale on Shopee, Lazada, Zalora, Amazon, Alibaba, or any online and traditional store, you can easily grab it because you set aside money for your savings. And you can refrain from using your ATMs or credit card from any charges with regards to the things you buy. So it is important to save. The third reason is to buy a home or a car. Savings can be used in buying home in full or down payment, especially in times of promo deals, bids and inevitable sale and at a reasonable interest rate. So if you dreamed of having a house and a car, now is the time for you to save money as early as today because it costs a lot of money before you can get that dream of yours. So if you have your savings, then you can easily buy a car or a house in full payment, especially in times of promo deals. So the fourth reason is to prepare for the future. Through savings, you can be confident to face the future without worrying on how you will survive. Saving money is one of the essential aspects of building wealth and having a secure financial future. So if you save money as early as today or in your teenager years, you are confident enough to say that your future is secured and you can enjoy the quality of life without worrying on how you will survive. It is important to save as much as you could and as early as today. So the fifth reason is to get out of debt. So this is also important. So if you want to get out of debt, you have to save money. So if you save money, you can refrain from having a debt and you can easily buy the things you want without borrowing money from any lending institution that has an interest rate. So better save than be sorry. So the sixth reason is that to augment annual expenses. In order to attain a good stress-free financial life, there is a need to save for annual expenses in advance. So saving a money is a key to have a stress-free financial life. You need to analyze your yearly expenses, either your personal or family's yearly expenses, so that you can save in advance. Example, your family's yearly travel, medical checkups, auto maintenance, and more. So the seventh reason why we need to save money is that to settle unforeseen expenses. Savings can respond to unforeseen expenses in times of needs. A truly unexpected expenses is something that you can predict or avoid, such as a natural disaster or a medical emergency. So if you have your savings, you can easily respond and settle unpredictable expenses. So the eighth reason why we need to save money for us to respond to emergency. Emergencies may happen anytime and this can be expensive too. So there is a need to get or prepared rather than potentially become another victim of an emergency. So having a savings can easily respond to emergency, right? So number nine, the ninth reason why we need to save money for us to mitigate losing your job or getting hurt. Bad things can happen to anyone, such as losing a job, business bankruptcy or crisis, being injured or becoming too sick to work. So therefore, having savings is the key to resolve such a dilemma. Losing a job also happens unexpectedly. For you to respond in this kind of dilemma, be financially literate and be mindful in using your money. Okay? So number 10 reason why we need to save money is for us to have a good life. Putting aside some money to spend when needed can bring about quality and worry-free life at all times. So money, if you agree with this, money is next to oxygen, right? So we cannot imagine how stressful life is without money. So to experience a good life, stress-free financial life, and become financially independent, start earning savings and value the importance of what life looks like if you are financially stable. So that's it for the 10 reasons why we need to save money. Now, we have here also the common financial scams to avoid. Financial fraud can happen to anyone, including the teachers, at any time. So while some forms of financial fraud, such as a massive data breaches, are out of one's control, there are many ways to proactively get rid of financial scams and identity theft. So here are some of the most common financial scams, along with the ways to identify them early and how to protect oneself from being victimized. So first, let's have phishing. Phishing is the fraudulent practice of sending emails purporting to be from reputable companies in order to induce individuals to reveal personal information such as passwords and credit card numbers. So using this common tactic, scammers send an email that appears to come from a financial institution, such as a bank, and ask you to click on a link to update your account information. So if you receive any correspondence that asks for your information, never click on the links or provide account details. Instead, visit the company's website, find official contact information, and call them to verify the request. The most important thing to do is to be cautious with suspicious messages and avoid acting quickly. You should never click or download any links that seem strange from unknown senders to avoid being scammed. So please be reminded of that. Okay, so the second common financial scam to avoid is called social media scams. Scammers are adept at using social media to gather information about the traveling habits of potential victims. They also have phishing tactics, including posts seeking charity donations with bogus links that allow them to keep your money. So, therefore, be conscious of the information you post online, especially personal details, and plan for a vacation that you would leave your house unoccupied. According to reports of Federal Trade Commission or FTC, scammers use social media platforms to promote bogus investment opportunities and even to connect with people directly as supposed friends to encourage them to invest. So people send money often, cryptocurrency on promises on huge returns but end up empty-handed. So be mindful of social media scams. The third common financial scams to avoid is what we call phone scams. Next slide, please. Okay, so phone scams. Scam calls are a form of fraudulent activity with the goal of stealing your money on your information. Similar to email scams, phone scams often present a bargain for merchandise or something completely free, such as a free prize or winning a contest. So phone scams is another prevalent tactic in scamming phone calls. The scammers pose a government agency such as the Bureau of Internal Revenue or local law enforcement agencies and use scare tactics to acquire your personal information and account numbers. What you are going to do is to never provide your account information over the phone. Look for the agency's contact information and call them to verify any request. So to note, government agencies will never text or call you to ask for money. So people lose a lot of money to phone scams, sometimes their life savings. Scammers have figured out countless ways to cheat you out of your money over the phone. So in some scams, they act friendly and helpful. So in others, they might threaten or try to scare you. So one thing you can count on is that a phone scammer will try to get your money or your personal information to commit identity theft. So never wire any information to strangers, especially strangers. Okay, so the fourth common financial scams to avoid is what we call as stolen credit card numbers. Next slide, please. Next slide, please, Dai. Okay. Stolen credit card numbers. This is when somebody makes unauthorized purchases using a stolen or misappropriated credit card or card numbers. There are numerous ways that scammers can obtain your credit card information, including hacking, phishing, and the use of skimming devices such as small card readers attached to unmanned credit card readers. These small devices pull data from your card when you swipe it. Before you use an ATM or swipe your card, look for suspicious devices that may be attached to the credit card readers. So credit card numbers can be stolen without your knowledge. So until you spot a fraudulent charge on your monthly statement, you may have no idea that your information has been stolen. So credit cards can be stolen in a variety of ways through theft or a physical card via data breaches and by card skimmer. So be mindful of this financial scam. So the last common financial scam to avoid is what we call as identity theft. Identity theft is the fraudulent acquisition and use of a person's private identifying information usually for financial gain. So, depending on the amount of information a scammer is able to obtain, identity theft may extend beyond are able to obtain your social security number, date of birth, and other personal information. They may be able to open a new account in your name without your knowledge. So be aware of an information you share and with whom, and always be sensitive with the information before disposing it. So identity theft happens when someone steals your personal information to commit a fraud. So the identity theft credit may use your information to apply for credit, file taxes, or get medical services. So these acts can damage your credit status and cost you time and money to restore your good name. So by taking preventative measures and being aware of scams, you can minimize the risk of fraud. So monitoring your online or mobile banking accounts daily can also help you see fraudulent charges. So that's it with the common financial scams to avoid, and let's be mindful of that scams. Okay, so now let's have the 10 tips to avoid common financial scams. So every year, fraud cases are getting worse, leaving countless victims in trouble and danger through data breaches, identity theft, and online scams. Unfortunately, new and improved technology only gives fraudsters an edge, making it easier than ever for scam artists to nab financial data from unsuspecting consumers. So here are the 10 tips to avoid common financial scams. The first tip is to never wire money to a stranger. Next slide, please. Never wire money to a stranger. Although it is one of the oldest internet scams, so there are still consumers who fall for this rip-off or some variations of it. So even if this is the oldest internet scams, this is still happening nowadays. So please never wire money to anyone you haven't met yet in person who says they work at a government agency or well-known company, who pressures you into paying immediately, and who says a wire transfer is the only way you can you can pay your bills. So please verify first before trusting somebody, especially if it's a money transaction. The second ways to avoid common financial scam is don't give out financial information. Never reveal sensitive personal financial information to a person or business you don't know through phone, text, or an email. So you need to be careful with how much your personal information you reveal online or with somebody. So sharing your address, phone number, birthday, and other personal information can mean you are at a greater risk of identity theft. So stalking and harassment. Try to be sensitive with your privacy and never share this to somebody, not unless needed. Okay? So the third ways to avoid common financial scams is what we call as never click on hyperlinks in emails. If you receive an email from a stranger or a company asking you to click on a hyperlink or open an attachment and then enter your financial information, delete that email immediately. Never click on any hyperlinks in emails or text messages if you are not completely sure who the sender is and where the link goes. So never give out your password, your username, unless you know for sure where the information will end up and who is that wants your information. So be observant always. The fourth ways to avoid common financial scams is what we call as use difficult passwords. Hackers can easily find passwords that are simple number combinations. Create passwords that are at least 8 characters long, and that includes some lower and uppercase letters, numbers, and special characters. You should also use a different password for every website you visit. Okay, so a strong password provides essential protection from financial fraud and identity theft. Always remember to create passwords that are at least 8 characters long, and that includes some lower and uppercase letters, numbers, and special characters. The fifth way to avoid common financial scams is never give your social security number. So if you receive an email or visit a website that asks for your social security number, please ignore it. Okay, so identity thieves can use your number and your credit to apply for more credit in your name. So then when they use your credit cards and don't pay the bills, it damages your credit. So please be mindful of this. Okay, so the 6 ways to avoid common financial scams is to install antivirus and spyware protection. Protect the sensitive information stored on your computer by installing antivirus, firewall, and spyware protection. Once you install the program, turn on the auto-updating feature to make sure the software is always up to date. It is important to install antivirus and spyware protection because it keeps an eye to all files and are put under a scan to check for any peculiarity or maliciousness. So please install antivirus and spyware protection. The 10th ways to avoid common financial scams is, seventh is don't shop with unfamiliar online retailers. So when it comes to online shopping, only do business with familiar companies. When purchasing a product from an unfamiliar retailer, do some research to ensure the business is legit and reputable. So this is not happening nowadays. Okay, so always check and validate the legitimacy of a certain online shop whenever you purchase something. Check and verify first before purchasing. Okay, so the 8 ways to avoid common financial scam is don't download software from pop-up windows. When you are online, do not trust pop-up windows that appear and claim your computer is unsafe. If you click on the link in the pop-up to start the system scan or some other programs, malicious software also as malware could damage your operating system. So please don't download any software from pop-up windows. Okay? So the 9th ways to avoid common financial scams is to make sure the website you visit are safe. Before you enter your financial information on any website, double check the website's privacy, the rules, and also make sure that the website uses encryption, which is usually symbolized by a lock to the left of the web address, which means it is safe and protected against hackers. So encryption means it is a means of security data by encoding it mathematically such that it can only be read or decrypted. So the last ways to avoid common financial scam is donate to known charities only. Okay, so if you receive a call or an email for solicitation of charity, donations, critically examine it. Some scammers create bogus charities to steal your credit card information. Okay, so always remember to verify emails before you conduct a transaction. So be wise and observant always. So that's it with my part. Thank you so much for listening, and I do hope you gain something on how to save a money, what are the common financial scams to avoid, and the 10 ways to avoid common financial scams. So I am encouraging you all to be financially literate for us to achieve a stable financial life. Okay, so thank you so much for listening, and I am giving the floor to the next speaker.